You ever sit in a room where everyone is emotionally investing in a rectangle? Like the game is on, someone's standing like they're coaching, one person is whispering, defense, defense, as if the TV can hear them. And you're just there holding a drink thinking. So we're all going to collectively experience heartbreak because a stranger missed a ball. And then someone turns to you and goes, "Wait, you don't watch sports?" They say it the way you'd say, "Wait, you don't have a phone?" Like it's not a preference. It's a missing organ. If that's you, if you can appreciate sports as a concept, but you don't obsess, don't memorize stats, don't feel your week rise and fall on a scoreboard, this video is for you. Not because you're better, not because you're worse, but because what's happening in your brain is genuinely interesting. Identity, stimulation, belonging, and how your mind chooses meaning. By the end, you'll recognize the quiet psychology behind not being sports obsessed, and you'll understand at least one person in your life a lot better. Maybe yourself. Because not caring about sports isn't one type of person. It's usually one of 5. Let's move fast. Type 1. The low tribal wiring person. The person who simply doesn't fuse identity to a group. Picture a fan watching a game where winning, even though they're not on the team, have never met the team, and their most athletic moment today was opening the fridge. Yet the we is real. Now picture you. You watch the same game and think, they're playing well. Not, we're winning. Tiny word, huge difference. Some people experience group identity as emotional fuel. Warm, stabilizing, meaningful. Others don't merge as easily. They're not antisocial. They just don't get the same reward from symbolic belonging. So when a whole room is vibrating with us versus them, you're sitting there like, did I miss a meeting where everyone agreed to care deeply about the same colors? Does that sound familiar? Or do you secretly wish you felt it? Type 2. The emotional efficiency brain. The person who avoids high drama investment by instinct. You're watching with friends. The room is tense. Someone yells at the ref. Someone groans like their soul left their body. Someone says, "This is the worst day of my life." And you're like, respectfully, your day still contains breakfast. This type isn't cold. They just have a mental habit of asking, what is this costing me emotionally? And what am I getting back? Because sports obsession can be a beautiful emotional roller coaster, if you like roller coasters. But for some minds, it's just inefficient. Too much adrenaline, too many mood swings, attached to something you can't control. They don't want their nervous system hijacked by random outcomes. And you'll see this pattern elsewhere. They don't get pulled into online arguments. They don't melt down over celebrity drama. They can enjoy things without surrendering to them. Sometimes people call you chill when really you're just conserving battery. Type 3. The stimulation mismatch. This one is brutally simple. You watch a game and it's slow. The pauses, the timeouts, the commentary, the rules you're supposed to care about. You're waiting for the part where something happens. Then something happens for 3 seconds. And then everyone returns to standing around like they're in a very emotional queue. Meanwhile, your brain is built for different rewards. Clear arcs, creativity, problems you can solve, skills you can improve, things you can actually do. And here's the key. Sports obsession often depends on a learned sensitivity. If you've trained your attention, you see meaning everywhere. Who's out of position? How the defense shifts? Why a 1-point lead is terrifying. But without that training, it can feel like watching a language you don't speak. You see movement, but not meaning. And honestly, People who grew up around sports got a head start. The rituals were social. The knowledge was inherited. The emotional associations were built in childhood. If you didn't have that, you're not behind. You just didn't install that app. So ask yourself, do you dislike sports, or do you just lack the emotional vocabulary for it? Big difference. Type 4, the outsider sensitivity. The person who associates sports obsession with social pressure. Because sports talk can become a social test. At work, at school, at family gatherings. Did you see the game? With the invisible follow-up. Are you one of us? If you've ever felt judged for not knowing teams, players, rules, you may have learned to distance yourself from the whole world. Not because you hate sports, because you don't like being measured. For this type, fandom can feel like a room where everyone shares an inside joke you're expected to laugh at. And if you don't, people assume you're boring or arrogant or not fun. So instead of forcing it, you opt out. You become the person who says, I just don't care, even if what you really mean is, I don't like being socially audited. Sometimes this is just autonomy. You don't like liking something because you're supposed to. The moment it's framed as mandatory, your interest quietly exits the building. Type 5, the meaning seeker. This one gets misunderstood. Because sports is a story machine. Heroes, villains, redemption arcs, rivalries, loyalty, the agony of defeat. It's theater with sweat. And you might actually love stories. You just want stories that feel closer to your life. So you invest in music, art, books, ideas, relationships, craft, psychology, building something. Your team is an inner world, growth, identity, curiosity. So when someone says, how can you not care? The real answer might be, oh, I care deeply, just not about that. And often, this person isn't empty. They're full. Sports doesn't fill a void because the space is already occupied by something more personal. Now, none of these types are better. Sports obsession can be healthy belonging, joy, tradition, connection. It can also be distraction, identity crutch, even a stress habit. Not obsessing can be grounded independence, or it can be avoidance of connection. It depends. So the real question isn't, why don't you like sports? It's, what do you use for belonging, stimulation, emotional release, and identity instead? Because sports fandom is one route, not the only one. So, quick self-check. Which profile fits you most? Low tribal identity, emotional efficiency, stimulation mismatch, outsider sensitivity, meaning seeker. And if you're thinking, I'm not obsessed, but I also don't want to be weird at social events, here's a gentle tip. You don't need to fake fandom. You just need curiosity. Ask people what they love about their team. Ask what got them into it. Ask about the rituals. People rarely want you to know stats. They want you to understand why it matters to them. And if you love sports and you're watching this thinking, are you calling me tribal? Yes, but in a nice way. Tribal isn't an insult. It's a human feature. Some people just experience it differently. So how does this land for you? Which type are you? Or which type is that person in your life who never knows who's playing? Drop a comment with the line you've said before. I don't hate sports, and finish it honestly. And if you like these calm, slightly uncomfortable deep dives into everyday behavior, you can subscribe. Because whether you're the person screaming at the TV or the person quietly sipping water like an anthropologist, the human mind is fascinating either way.